Good morning. It's an honor to welcome you this morning to the 40th Commemorative International Conference of KAMES. On behalf of KAMES members, let me thank, at first, His Excellency Ambassador of the Sultanate of Oman, Dean of Diplomatic Corps, President of Korea Arab Society, Mohammed Al-Harithi. His Excellency Ambassador of Jordan, Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, Dr. Adil Adaile. And keynote speaker, Professor Anush Ihtishami. Director of Middle East and African Affairs in Korean Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Hong Jin-wook. Representatives of JAMES, Professor Hidemitsu Kuroki and Professor Shinya Suda. Diplomatic missions from the Middle Eastern countries, and our kind co-host, Director of the GCC Institute at Dankook University, Professor Chang Se-won. I also want to thank our generous co-sponsors, KIEP, SK Innovation, S-Oil, and Korea Arab Society, KAS, as well as our many supporting partners for helping us to organizing this international conference a reality. It is the 40th anniversary of KAMES. Ever since the establishment in 1979, the KAMES has operated as a non-profit organization to encourage and promote the study of the Middle East in Korea. As the most prominent Middle East studies associations, we brought together researchers, diplomats, journalists, and entrepreneurs, students, and others who deal professionally with the Middle East issues. We have successfully broadened intellectual horizon for Middle Eastern studies through interdisciplinary research and to lay the foundation for Middle East studies in Korea, and broaden our academic exchanges, both home and abroad, by building extensive academic networks with other associations, think tanks, and universities, and provide policy consultation to our government on Middle Eastern issues, as well as suggesting policy proposals. And last but not least, we have encouraged the public understanding of the region and its peoples through programs, publications, and services. As the continuance of our traditions, we are here this week to learn, to share our experience and insights, and most importantly, to collectively address critical challenges which are not only for the Middle East, but the whole world are facing. How to achieve the mutual prosperity, peace, economic transformation, to the long-influenced rentier-statism and various forms of diaspora occurring in this region. As many of you are aware, major geo-economic and environmental challenges are now driving new dynamics in the region, not only in politics and economy, but society and culture as a whole. Thus, under the title of Rising Conflict in the Period of New Diaspora and Geo-Economic Transitions in the Middle East, 2019 KAMES International Conference has gathered distinguished scholars, the experts, and governmental officials to discuss the current situations, challenges, and advancement, relating the transition of politics, geo-economic, and socio-cultural and linguistic dynamics in the Middle East. I'm sure this conference will be a platform to together find ways to thunder on unprecedented challenges facing the Middle East region into unprecedented opportunities. Many thanks as well to the staff of KAMES International Conference Preparation Committee who have spent months organizing this event. And let me conclude by saying, I wish you all a successful conference of learning, sharing, and building a foundation for a better and prosperous future in the region. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Honorable President of the Korean Association for Middle East Studies, Mr. Lee In-seop, Director of the GCC Institute of Bangkok University, Mr. Jang Si-won, His Excellency Mr. Muhammad Al-Harthi, the Dean of Diplomatic Corps, the President of the Arab Korean Society, Professor at Durham University, Mr. Anoush Ihtishami, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. First of all, I would like to express my sincere appreciations to the Korean Association for Middle East Studies for their invitation to the 2019 KAMES International Conference. It's quite a privilege for me to address such distinguished guests with congratulatory remarks this morning. The Korean Association for Middle East Studies is the most renowned academy society in Korea for the researchers, studies on the Middle East and the Middle Eastern affairs. It plays an important role for being an advisor to the Korean governments when it comes to making policies and decisions regarding the issues on the Middle East, while allowing invaluable opportunities for highly respected scholars and notable real-world practitioners to get together and share insight on the issues regarding the Middle East to opt for better cooperation as in this conference. Ladies and gentlemen, as you may all be very aware, the ancient Middle East gave rise to some of the great human civilization and empires in human history, while the current Middle East presents itself with the importance in the world, with its geostrategic position and energy resources, with its control of the most waterways, and its position for more than 75% of the world oil and gas reserves. Excellencies, in October 2013, I was the Director of Asian Department at the Foreign Ministry of Jordan, when His Excellency former Korean Foreign Minister, Mr. Yoon Byung-si, was on an official visit to Jordan. I remember His Excellency Minister Yoon saying that Korea's relationship with the Middle Eastern region has changed from being an option to a necessity, with more than 80% of the Korea's oil supply and 50% of its gas supply coming from the Middle East and the Gulf states. By 2012, for instance, Korea's trade with the region rose to more than $164 billion. There have been strong ties between the Middle East and Korea, with more than 1,000 years of cultural and civilization exchange, as well as commercial and trade interactions, the long shared history of which I believe many ordinary Arabs and Koreans are not aware of it. Ladies and gentlemen, taking this opportunity, however, I would like to point out that, unfortunately, the Korean media coverage on Korea's relation with the Middle East has been insufficient so far, and the unawareness and ignorance of the people on the aforementioned long shared history between the Middle East and Korea could be due to this. I would like also to cautiously express my concern that despite all the great discussion and fruitful knowledge and opinion sharing at a conference as the 2019 KAMES International Conference, more effective media coverage and more active promotion and campaign to the public might be needed to highlight the relations between the Middle East and Korea, as well as the historical, cultural, economic foundation shared in between. There are many misconceptions in Korea and among Koreans about the Middle East, Islam and its concept that calls for justice and tolerance. With the misrepresentation by the media, however, I do not lose my hope in Korea and its people. We all know Korea's physical and emotional capabilities, its international standing, and potential to interact more with the world, in particular with the Middle East region, through constant effort made at such conferences and seminars like this international conference. Ladies and gentlemen, I trust that this era of globalization that we are all living in, one individual country or one region of the world cannot live by or on its own without being influenced by or influencing the other. This is not only applicable to the era of business and commerce, trade and investment, but also to the areas that call for political, economic, cultural, social and people-to-people links and exchange, as the world is becoming smaller and each country is closely influenced by one another in coexistence. And to reach such a goal, to develop and sustain this connectivity and peaceful coexistence, the mutual understanding of each other is crucial. In this regard, I would like to express my deep appreciations to the Korean Association for Middle East Studies once again to organize and to host this conference, where knowledge, experience and expertise of the academia, of the policymakers for the Middle East or related to the Middle East are shared to promote better understanding of the current issue in the Middle East in this era of globalization and of a new diaspora. I sincerely hope this conference be successful and play its role of covering the relevant issues under the theme of the rising conflict in the period of a new diaspora and geo-economic transition in the Middle East, and possibly take one step closer to discovering the path towards the peaceful and fruitful coexistence between the Middle East and Korea. Last but not least, I hope all of the distinguished guests who flew in from overseas will enjoy the warm hospitality of Korea during their stay here. Thank you very much. Kamsahamnida.
So although the government level, we are having now bumpy relations, the JAMES, the Japan Association of Middle Eastern Studies, was always our great partner and the supporter of KAMES. So give a big round of applause to Hidemitsu Kuroki, and he was going to give us the congratulatory remarks.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, academic colleagues from Korea and many countries from the Middle East and other parts of the world, ladies and gentlemen. First, I would like to express my deepest gratitude to Professor Lee Eun-suk and his colleagues of Korean Association of Middle East Studies for their kind and generous invitation to this great conference. I'm honored to be given this opportunity. Representing the Japan Association for Middle East Studies, JAMES, as the Director of International Exchange of the Association, I'd like to extend my sincerest congratulations to the friends of KAMES for the 40th anniversary of the association's establishment. JAMES was founded in 1984. Therefore, KAMES is 5 years elder than JAMES. Since the earliest years of JAMES, there has been a strong ties between the two sister associations. In 1995, KAMES took the initiative to establish the Asian Federation of Middle East Studies Association, AFMA, involving the Chinese and Japanese associations. And later, the Mongolian Association of Middle East Studies joined the federation. I wish to express my profound esteem for KAMES' extensive networking activities, and also for the vitality to organize this fantastic international conference every year, in addition to the annual domestic conference. In the year of KAMES' establishment, 1979, right? 1979, huh? The two decisive events occurred in the Middle East. Islamic Revolution in Iran and Soviet's invasion of Afghanistan. Almost everything we observe today in the Middle East is in some way or another related to the two big events. I imagine that the Korean scholars at the time corresponded to the landmarking events immediately by establishing KAMES. Indeed, Korea and Japan share the same interests in the Middle East: energy, security, relationship with Islam, environmental issues, tourism, immigration, and so on. Being on the same boat, I believe we can work together more for the future cooperation. Well, frankly speaking, I must admit at present the governmental relationships between the two countries are not very good. Now, Japanese society is highly polarized over many issues, one of which is the Korean-Japanese relationship. Again, I believe in this difficult time, it is all the more important for the academics of KAMES and JAMES to cooperate more based on the common field of study. Well, I'm sorry to say that at this moment, Japanese people do not know how to use umbrellas or how to use candles. However, I wish to be optimistic. Japanese people can change things too, just as the Arab people have been doing since 2011. Well, our president, JAMES president, Professor Tetsuya Otoshi, should have come to this place and give this talk, but he is now in Egypt for his sabbatical research. And let me forward his best wishes and congratulations to KAMES for the 40th anniversary. And thank you very much.